This is not for cooking. Huh? I will use that next class. So today I will try to study predicable and chapter 6, not next week, next class on Monday. Huh? Next Monday. So I will make a little modification to the calendar. If we can finish this morning that chapter, we use that chapter 6 for division and composition, method of definition. You have that in your, it is in your book of Sister Spangler also. So don't tell her that I photocopy her book. Okay, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let us continue to pray for Christians persecuted in many countries, Iraq, Syria, Nigeria, North Cameroon, Central Africa, South Sudan, everywhere there is persecution. Our brother need our prayer. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and in the hour of our death. Amen. Mary, seat of wisdom, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So this morning we work on the chapter 5, predicable, mode in definition. But while we are studying now in the first part of logic, we are searching for the tools with we will use to define, because the summit of the first operation of the mind is to be able to know what is a thing, to find the definition of a thing. So we have already two tools. We have the first, the words. We studied that, the words and concept, because we define using words. Secondly, last class we studied another tool, the categories or predicament. You remember that? So they are tools used to define. And this morning we study a third kind of tool, the predicable. So the categories of predicament, you remember, indicate what is attributed to a subject. What is attributed to a subject. So that is predicament. And we saw that we have two divisions of predicament. We have the substance, what exists in itself, a substance, and the rest, they are accident existing in the substance. And with the 10 categories, we can classify everything. Because to define, we must classify, we must divide. We see that even in the present chapter, also predicable. So now predicable is not the what, but it is the manner, the way, the mode of attributing a predicate to a subject. How the predicate, and the predicate can be all that here on the 10, one of the 10 categories, how that can be applied to a subject. So it is what here, it is how. So that is the research we have to do this morning. How we apply it. So let us start from example. Well, we use the example you have on your paper. John. Well, John is a subject. And you know what is a subject. It is what is under the accident. Okay? John is a man, John is an American, John is a Catholic, John is a golfer, etc. Okay? So now, I can say first, just put it, not that. I can say that John is an animal, because John eats, sleeps, he breathes, etc. He's an animal. That means animal is attributed to John in an essential way, necessary. It is his essence to be an animal. It is we are essentially animal. So the concept animal is attributed to John in an essential way. Essential manner. Essential way. Essential manner. That means the predicable here, the predicable. What is a predicable? A predicable is a predicate. What is a predicate? Attribute. So what is the word predicable? Yeah, in predicable you have two words. You have the word able and predicate. That means able to be predicated to a subject. Able to be attributed to a subject. No, predicable. Okay? So predicable, that means how a predicate can be attributed to a subject. And here we see that animal is attributed to John, the subject John, in an essential way. It is necessary for John to be an animal. But my cat is also an animal. My dog is an animal. The squirrel is an animal. The kangaroo is an animal. So, what is the difference? So the word animal, the concept animal, the term animal, the predicate animal is very vague, very general. It is general. We call that the genus. It is the genitive in Latin of genus is generis. Make in English the word general. That means animal is applied to man, but is applied also to cat, to rational animal and to non-rational animal. Okay? That is the genus. So in every definition, we have a general term. For example, you have a hammer. What is a hammer? You will say a hammer is a tool. Yes, a tool, an instrument, a tool. Tool is a genus, because a screw is a tool. A sickle is a tool. A chalk is a tool. A pencil is a tool. So tool is a very general word. And we call that genus. In every definition, we begin by a genus. Okay? Now, we are not satisfied. I cannot define John as a genus, as an animal. So I see what makes John as an animal apart the other animal. Is rational. John is rational. John reason. John is intelligent. And to be rational, it is also essential to John. It is essential to me to be rational. But what is the difference between me and my cat? Rationality. What the word rational is doing in the definition of John, it is precising animal. It's not every animal, it is that kind of animal we call man. You know? So that is precising. It is specifying. Specifying. We call that specific difference. So the genus is something indeterminate. Indeterminate. Or incomplete is a definition, but that definition is indeterminate, is incomplete. So what will precise the definition of man? It will be the specific difference. So the specific difference is determining, the genus, is specifying. What is the word special? Special means particular, singular, and that, special. So what is determining? Determining, we call it specific difference. Difference because that put man apart the other animal. Secondly, specific because it will, that specific will give him, will put him in a species we call man. And that is the complete. What is, if I put together rational and animal, I have a complete definition of man. It is a determined definition. The definition is complete, is determined, is precise. So to make a definition, we need first a genus. And that genus is vague, you have to precise. To precise, we use a specific difference. A difference which put that being in a special species. A special species is a redundance, is a repetition in a species. But the species require the genus and the specific difference together. So the definition must be made with a genus and specific difference. But to be a rational animal, it is essential. So the genus, the specific difference, and the species express an essential way to define John, to precise who is John. It is essential. So we have three essential ways of predicating an attribute to a subject. Three essential. That means three ways to express their essence. The genus, the specific difference, and both together the species.
So
and the species here is man. Man is the species. Yes, brother.
So three essential ways to predicate.
Predicate.
Okay.
To attribute. Predictable. Don't forget. And the predicable is not the attribute. The predicable is how, the manner, the way I attribute to the subject of the thing. It can be essential, but it can be also accidental. It can be accidental. For example, if I say John is a golfer, John is a Catholic, purely accidental. John is a Vietnamese, an American, a Canadian, a Peruvian. It's purely accidental. It's not his essence to be an American. It's not his essence. That means the predicate here can be attributed to the subject in an accidental way, in an accidental manner. That means does not express, strictly speaking, the essence of John. The essence of John is to be a rational animal. All the rest is added to him. But among the accident, that means among the predicate, we can attribute to John in an accidental way, we distinguish between two categories, two divisions. Some accidents are attributed to John, but they are depending on the essence. John is able to laugh. John is able to smile. John is able to read, to write, etc.
So the attributes are dependent upon the accident.
Those attributes are they essential? It is essential to say that John is laughing. Is it essential to say John is smiling? No. Because if it was essential to John to be able to laugh, he should laugh 24 hours a day. No, he does not laugh 24 hours a day. He does not write 24 hours a day. He does not write 24 hours a day. But writes 24 sometime. He writes, he smiles, he laughs sometime. It is accidental, no? But is to laugh on the same level as to be tall, or to be Catholic, or to be American, or to be a student? The same level, the same thing? Are you sure it's the same thing? For example, the fact, well, some are brown, some are yellow, some are red, the red skin, some are black. Huh? Is it essential? For example, Brother Severinus is from Ghana. Huh? He is a rational animal, no? But he is not white. So he is a human being? Yeah. But it is purely accidental. I'll give you an example. Suppose I make a compliment to a sister. I say, sister, you are so gentle. I think I never saw in my life a sister so kind. And what happened to the sister? She smiled and she becomes red. Red. Huh? No? It's happened sometimes, huh? Red. So, that is accidental. But is it on the same level of accident to become red, to be brown, to have a black shirt, or to be able to laugh? Is it not a difference between them? Yes. Yeah. To be able to laugh, that means you must be rational. That means some accident we have, they are not essential, but they flow, they come, they depend on our essence. Those accidents that depend on our essence, we give them a special name. We call that property. So an accident which it is not essential, it is an accident. To laugh is an accident. But it is coming from my essence of rational animal. Because of that, it is a property. So a property is an accident which is not by definition essential, but comes from the essence of the being. Okay? So if you laugh, if you smile, it is because you are intelligent.
So let me word this right, Father. Make sure I'm getting this right, because accidents are not essential, but they depend on our essence.
No.
No.
I did not say that. I say that accidents are not essential. But among accidents, we distinguish two groups. Some accidents have no relation with the essence. For example, the color of my face, the fact I am tall or not, spheric or not spheric. Huh? That does not depend on my essence. But some accidents, they depend on my essence. They flow from my essence. In fact, laughing is an accident. But that accident depends on my essence, on my rationality. We call that property. Accident, property. So a property is not the essence, but it is an accident flowing from the essence. Okay? Capiche? Now, the accident, the other, we call that predicable accident. Predicable accident. And we distinguish two classes, Well, some are detachable. We can separate that, separable from the essence. For example, you are in good health and you are sick. Well, that is purely accidental. You are in Vietnam, you are in the United States, you are in Rome, that is purely accident. You remember there is 9 accidents, no? Well, all that is not depending on not everyone depends on my essence. to be in the class now is purely accidental. Huh? Okay, it's not my essence. Okay. But so with those accidents we can detach from the essence. They can change. They can. I can be in good health. I can be sick. I can be in good health again. We call that separable accident. Separable accident. Or they are totally accident. They don't depend on the essence. Okay? They don't depend. I cannot define saying a man is a white, a rational being, or black rational being. I cannot say that. Okay? But when we define, for example, I want to define the Canadian beaver. Because the emblem of Canada, you know that. Because Canadians, they work a lot. So the characteristic is the flat. One of the characteristics of the beaver is to have a flat tail, because with this flat tail he is making dams. You know, he's a dam maker. He is controlling. It's intelligent, but that animal is controlling the hydraulic system of your forest. It's a marvel. It's a marvel. That animal is a marvel. So he is tapping. But suddenly, I don't know, a lumberjack arrived and cut his tail. Is that beaver still a beaver?
Yes.
Yes. But when I define a beaver, I must speak about its state. I cannot define a beaver. Okay, a beaver is an animal, is a carnivore, is a rodent, is a, he has a flat tail, he builds dams. So I have to take all those things together to define what is a beaver. But all those are accidents. But to define my beaver and make it different from, for example, from a hung, how do you say, the animal which announced the spring? Hung?
Oh, groundhog.
Groundhog.
Groundhog, But the groundhog does not have a flat tail, but he has no. So we put all those qualifications together. We call that inseparable accident. I will come back on that. Inseparable accident. In fact, they are accidents. Inseparable accident. My Canadian beaver is still a Canadian beaver even if he is losing its tail. Your cat is still a cat even if you cut its tail. A cat is still a cat even if he is losing his whisks. Okay? Or you are still a human. That is inseparable accident. Okay? But for the moment I stop here, and after that we explain one by one. That is the GPS. Okay? Now let us go to the text. To always the first page, why we speak about predicate? It is to define, to arrive to a definition. And what we learned just before, we define using genus, genus and specific difference, or genus and inseparable accident. Interesting. That means inseparable accident, they are accident. They are not the essence. But together, they play the same role, They are not, but they play the same role as a specific difference. And when you go to Merriam-Webster, any dictionary, most of the time, I will say 99%, 99% are here, of definition, are made with genus and inseparable accident. Because you will see that kind of division is proper, is for philosophy and mathematics. I give you another example, a triangle. If you have a triangle, what is a triangle? A triangle is a figure. A triangle is a figure. Where is my chart? Chart. Okay. So, is a figure. It is essential for a triangle to be a figure, because if it does the figure, it does not exist. Okay. Secondly, what kind of figure?
Three-sided.
Three-sided and triangle. Huh? Three-sided and triangle. Okay. Now, that is general, the genus. That is the
Genius.
specific difference. Okay? That is very general, any figure. Because I can have other figure than triangle. A rectangle, square, circle, lozenge, etc. Okay? So what is a triangle? In fact, the triangle is a three-sided and angle figure. So we have the genus and the specific difference, and that gives me the species. And the three are essential to the definition of a triangle. Okay, they are essential. But now, if I look at the triangle, I say the triangle, every triangle has 180 degrees. What is that? The property. Huh? That flows from its essence. Because its essence is to have three sides, therefore three angles, I can demonstrate that equal 180 degrees. That is a property flowing from the triangle. I cannot define a triangle is a figure with 180 degrees. I must define a triangle is a figure with three sides and three angles. Okay? Now, I can have many kinds of triangle. I can have equilateral triangle, and can have a right angle triangle. I can have an isosceles triangle. I can have a scalene triangle. All they are triangle, but their form is purely accidental. And to be equilateral, to be scalene, to be right angle, all that are purely accidental. Okay, purely accidental.
Are all triangles 180 degrees?
Yeah.
Okay, is there other shapes that have 180 degrees?
No.
So why isn't 180 degrees essential?
It's not essential. It is flowing
No,
from
I know.
the.
Why not?
But now you have to teach geometry, huh?
Right.
And to put the triangle into a circle. Now that is the demonstration of geometry. Huh? Okay, one studied geometry. One of the. Remember that's with memories of mathematics. Huh? Maybe you never studied that. Believe me, I don't have time to prove that. You know. I am not. But you know, you prove. We did use from the fact it is a triangle. We arrive to one. It is the half of a circle. The surface of a triangle is the half of the circle around the triangle. You know?
No, I understand, Father.
Okay.
What I'm asking is, if it's only specific to one thing,
It is specific to triangle. Only
Right.
triangle.
but that's not necessarily
It's not
essential.
specific. It's a property
Or property.
flowing from the fact there are triangles.
Okay.
Okay? And the rest is purely accidental. But that is mathematics.
I see.
So in
I
mathematics,
see why it's not why it is accidental, because it's not necessary.
It's not the essence of a triangle. It's coming,
Not the essence.
like the fact you can laugh is
I
not
see.
the essence.
I got you.
But it is showing your essence, okay? So predicaments are the key instrument to define. So why we spend hours to do that is to have fun first, because it's interesting. No? Yes, you smile, you laugh. And secondly, it is to arrive to a good definition. Okay, I continue. So in a word, the predicament gives the ultimate classes of being. You remember the 10 classes, predicament, 10 boxes. Huh? And those 10 boxes now, they are attributed to a subject in many ways. As a genus, as a specific difference, as a species, as a property, or as an accident. And among accident, we are separable and inseparable. Okay? So now, if you want, even if you don't want, I know you want to know. Huh? So we are studying one by one. One by one. So the genus, the general, class is what is determinable. Figure is to be determined. Animal is to be determined. Okay. Secondly, page 30, specific difference. It is the identifying characteristic, determining man among all the other animals. It is rationality. The fact is rational, intelligent. So rationality is a part of his nature, is a part of his essence. What is the essence of a thing? It is the definition, it is the nature. What is the nature? It is the essence as principle of activity. Look at that. Not for a triangle, but for man, rational animal. So if I say the essence is the principle of my activity, I must act as an animal, and I must act as a rational being. That means I have to eat, I have to sleep. That is my animality. I cannot say, oh no, I am an angel, no, I will not sleep. I will pray 24 hours a day. If you do that, you are immoral. Immoral! Yeah. Because you don't obey your nature. Yeah? What is morality? Is to be in conformity with my nature. And my nature is as a body, and I must feed my body, I must take a rest. I must have a great devotion to the sacred nap. Natio. Depending on the climate. When I arrived in Cameroon in 1971, I saw my confrère, everybody, after lunch, they went to sleep. I said, I don't want to lose my time. So I decided not to take a nap. I decided to study, to read. 2 weeks after, because the climate obliged that. Even the birds stopped. We see almost no bird at noon. No bird, nothing. Even I saw a donkey. He was filled with flies, but he has not the courage to chase them. That's quiet. Okay. Because we are animal, but we are also rational. We don't sleep, we don't eat like animals. We put our rationality into our animality. We don't eat like a dog. A dog never cooks his meat. And if he eats meat, cook meat, because it is because of you. But an animal has no idea to cook. Everything is crude. A lion never say, wait a minute, I will cook that, I will make how do you say, a broil, I will not, He say, bless the Lord, and because they are good lion, they bless the meal when they eat a missionary. You know the story of the lion. And the lion, missionary was attacked by in front of a lion, but that history can be with a bear also. And they say, oh Lord, come, touch the lion, the heart of the lion, that he become a good Christian, become man. And the lion suddenly stopped. Oh. And with his paw, he said, in the name of the Father, he blessed the meal. Okay. That's not the logic. Huh? Oh, but it's a proof that we are intelligent because we can laugh. A lion cannot laugh. What he can do after a good meal when he have eaten a gazelle, and a cat manifests a dog's satisfaction wagging his tail. You know when a dog is happy and when a dog is not happy. It's very simple. When he is happy, he is wagging. But he is not happy, what he does? He puts his tail between two legs. Be careful. Look at the tail. The tail is like, we don't have a tail. We have more than, we have a smile. Your dog cannot smile. He expresses his emotion through his tail. We express our emotion through our face. Okay? And that is interesting. The accident, a face, express the substance. Okay? I go now to specific. So it's the determining. Determining. Now I put together the genus and the specific. I have the species, the complete. It is complete. It is determined. A rational animal is my own total nature, complete. Okay. Property. It is what is peculiar, special to a kind, but the characteristic is flowing, coming from the essence. Because I am intelligent, I can smile. Because I am intelligent, I can talk. My dog does not talk. He barks. It barks. It is his nature to express his emotion through barking. And your cat is meowing. I think in Vietnam, a cat is meow? No?
Yes.
Okay. But it express, and look at the difference. When you express your emotion, you have thousands of words to express. The cat has only meow, meow, and meow. And the dog bark, only bark. The vocabulary is very limited. Why? Because barking comes from his essence. He's not intelligent. Man is intelligent, so he can use a language. He can use many languages. Among them, you learn Spanish, you learn English, you learn Latin, you learn French, you learn Vietnamese. Man can speak a lot of language. Why? Not because he has a tongue, a mouth. A good dog has that. Because he is rational. That means a lot of accidents we have are property because we are intelligent. Okay. So now the accident, those who are not peculiar, they are purely contingent. An accident, it is what is contingent, not necessary. It's not necessary to be an American. It's not necessary to be a Catholic. It's not necessary to be a male or a female. That is accidental. Okay? Now, page 4, excuse me, page 31 for you. So what is a predicable? So the essential, the genus, it is the way of predicating which states the essence of a thing in a way common to many. So we saw that. Animal is a predicated to man, attributed to man, but it is common to many, to cats, to kangaroo, to giraffe. And we have, for example, here, man is an animal, a triangle is a figure, a spoon is a utensil, our father is a prayer, etc. Okay? So the genus or the general classification is predicated first. We always begin a definition by the genus. Because the genus gives us immediately I say it's an animal, I say it is a tree or it is a plant, immediately I can't. So after that I search what kind of tree, what kind of plant, what kind of animal. So we start from the generic to the specific. And what is definition? Define. I show that to you. Definition, it is to put a limit to a concept. To put finis. Finis in Latin means border. To mean to delimit, precise, more and more and more. So we arrive to the complete definition what is a thing. And in science, how we can define? Using the inseparable accident. in physics and chemistry. You define what is hydrogen, what is oxygen, what is chloride. They are gas, they are odorless except chloride. They are without color, but chloride as a color is green. And sulfur either is yellow. And so you define through the sense, the characteristic. You put all those characteristics and you have hydrogen. You put all those characteristics and you have oxygen. You put all those characteristics and you have chloride. You know, is the way we work in science. In fact, science uses definition through genus and inseparable accident. Okay? Because in science we cannot go to the essence of a thing. By definition, science is observing things from outside, not from within. Huh? Okay? A scientist cannot say, he cannot define, for example, a cat is an irrational animal. No, that is philosophy. I would say it's a kind of animal, quadruped, a carnivore, man, etc. Use all the characteristics of feline to finally arrive to define a cat, and that cat is different from a lion. Even if both of them are feline, but they have characteristics which are different. Okay? A lion never sleeps in your bed, but a cat can sleep with you. No? I know some people, they cannot, their dog always sleep on their feet, because they want to be warm during the night. It's not the best thing, because you can contract some disease. Because yes, animals, they carry a lot of... don't forget, the fur of animal is like a carpet. It is electrostatic. And what is electrostatic? Well, the character electrostatic is to catch the microbe, catch the dust, attract. You never did the trick when you were a kid. You take your comb and you use little paper. What happened to the little paper? They raise up and they stick to your comb. You can do that with your pencil. Don't do that now. If you have a plastic, yes, you have a plastic pencil, you provoke electricity, and after that you play, and you make magic paper, whoop, the paper stainless. Electricity, static, is in the fur of animals. Sometimes we don't think about that. Animals are those who carry diseases. Carry diseases. Your cat can go everywhere, and he can contract some germ, and you come to him and you hug him, and when you hug him, the germ enter your mouth, enter your nose. Yes. And that is a fact. A rat or a squirrel, very dangerous. A rat, all those who are rodent, they are dangerous. Of course, I don't say now put your cat outside, but I say be careful, be aware that a cat, like a carpet, is containing, attracting all the germs. Okay, I close here my parenthesis of hygiene. But continue to love your cat. It's not a sin. It's better to love your cat than to love the wife of another. That is ethics, it's not logic. Okay. Okay, now I go to page 5. No, excuse me, not page 5. Page 31 for you. 31. So the complete essence. And I gave you, in fact, how we arrive to a definition. In fact, we start from our sense experience. It is written here, the whatness, the quidité, the essence, comes from the sensible singulars. So it is from the sensible singulars that I can arrive to a concept, and to discover that a cat is an animal, and that a cat is a mammifer, a cat is a carnivore, etc. So under the species, but not when we have the species. So we have the figure, you have the specific difference, you have the species. And under the species, there is only individual. Individual. The rational animal, under rational animal, John, Mary, Louis, Pius X, Napoleon. The limit is the species. After the species, there is no more universal. They are individual. Okay? Now, the definition clarifies the oneness of the thing, giving the genus and specific difference, or the genus and inseparable accident. Don't forget, a definition is made by precising the genus by a specific difference, or precising the genus by inseparable accidents. Okay, that is very, very, very important. Very important. Okay? Roger is a man. That is a rational animal. This figure is a triangle, etc. Okay. So the genus stands for the general category, and the species for the special kind. And if you go to page 6, you have here an application of that. In fact, the top of every definition, on the summit, the most general term in every definition is the genus. We always start from the genus. Well, in the case of man, for example, I can say, man is a substance. Okay. But we can have two kinds of substance. We can have a non-material substance, but man is a material substance. He is made with matter, a body. So that is material, a body. We have a body. Don't mean none with being having no body, being having body, material. Okay? Now, material, I can have thing animated, animate, and non-animate being. Animate being or non-animate. Non-living, if you want. We can say living also here. Animate or living. For example, no, excuse me, not living. Hey, I forgot something. I can add something here. I can say some material things are living, some are not living, non-living. For example, a stone is not living. A cat, a flower is living. But what is the difference between a flower and a cat? Those are how do you say, senses. They are sensitive. They have senses. And some are non-sensitive. For example, flowers are not sensitive, but they are living. And among sensitive, you have some, they are rational, and they are non-rational. So when I have a substance that is material, living, sensitive, and rational, what do I have? Man. That is the limit. And now I have John, Peter, Mary, Cindy, Cynthia, etc. All that. Magdalene, they are individual. That because that the Porphyry tree, Mr. Porphyry. It is a Greek philosopher who make a tree. It's not a Christmas tree. No? It's a logical tree. Okay? But what do you remark here? Interesting. We define by contradiction, by division. We define by division. To precise, when I was to precise, to give a specific difference, what I have to do, I have to put aside. when you want to classify the thing in your room, or you put aside, see, if you want to classify, for example, your books, you put aside all the rest. After that, you want to classify your clothes, you put that in the rest. You know, that's the way we proceed, no? We classify by division. And the best division is contradiction. That means Catholic and non-Catholic. If you say Catholic and Protestant, it's not a good division, because we have other. Okay. Here you go to human being. Interesting. What is a seminarian in Cromwell? It is a male, a human being first, a human being, or a substance, a rational human being. No, I made, okay. Those who are not male. After that, is a believer, because not every male is a believer. Some male are not believers, some are believers. Among the believers, you have Catholic, but you are non-Catholic. Okay? And among Catholic, you have someone who prepare to priesthood, and someone who don't prepare to priesthood. And you can prepare to priesthood in a major seminary or not in a major seminary. Someone, for example, they are sent to university, or they are sent in a parish and they are formed in a parish. No? In a seminary, what kind of seminary? Specialized for older men, mature men. In fact, the seminary was created here for mature men, but in my time, 60 years ago, mature men was 25.
Knocked out.
So we can say every student now is for mature men. Okay. And now in Connecticut, because there are someone out of Connecticut, on John the 23rd in Boston, Sacred Heart in East Corner, Wisconsin. You have Gonzaga University in Washington State. So they are also for adults. But here in Connecticut, in Connecticut, not everywhere, in Holy Apostle College and Seminary. What is the definition of a seminarian in Cromwell? It is a human being, is a male, a believer, a Catholic, preparing to priesthood in a major seminary for older men in Connecticut. That is the definition in Holy Apostle. That means all those things are specifying. So you start from the general, the genus, to the specific. So you have a universal extension. At the end, you have a very small extension. Yes. But you have a rich comprehension. And what is a definition? It is to give a rich comprehension, give a rich understanding of it. Now, I continue, page 32. So we have non-essential accident, the principal accident, deriving from the essence, or adhering to the essence. Deriving from the essence, we call that property. Property. In erring, that means existing in the essence, but not being the essence, we call that accident. And we distinguish two kinds of accidents, separable and inseparable. In erring, what is the meaning? It exists in, to be in. Okay? So property, follow from the essence. I'll explain that to you. In fact, that property are very important. Why they are important? Because it is the way we can discover the essence. We cannot see the essence of a thing directly. Can you see your rationality? No, you see your rationality through your activities. To your activity that express your rationality. For example, laughing, smiling, talking, writing, studying. Those activities prove that you are rational, intelligent. So the property are very, very important. In fact, property, they are the way to see the specific difference. Because the other accident, for example, I am tall, I am strong, that does not express your specific difference. They express your animality. What expresses your specific difference? In fact, they are your properties. So the properties are expressing your form, what you are. Very, very important, huh? Very important. Don't forget, huh? You remember the story of Blessed Bartolomeo de los Casas, huh? You know the story? He was a Dominican, you know that, huh? He's a Dominican, his sister, huh? Your brother, huh? And he was a missionary in the Caribbean, and the landlord, and the Spaniard wanted to enslave the Indian. And Bartolomeo said, no, 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 they are human beings, you are not allowed to enslave them. So what he did, he took 13 or 14 of them, and he took them to Spain. Imagine, poor man, arriving in Spain, when they saw all those strange people with strange clothes, strange, they were terrified. And they went to Valladolid, and the Pope sent his representative to that meeting, because the meeting was very important. Are we allowed to enslave the Indian of South America? So there was a discussion, and theologians, he said, you know, how we can know that those Indians are human? If they can laugh. If they can laugh. And the poor Indians, they were terrified. When you are terrified, can you laugh?
No.
No. So they tried to make them laugh. They came with clowns, but they were completely terrified. And the poor Bartolomeo, they say, oh, Lord, Lord, have pity, have pity. So finally, the legate of the Pope stood up. He was a big man. He stood up and he said, you know, we know that people are intelligent when they can laugh, but those Indians, they are here for many days and they never laugh. So I'm not sure they are human. And he finished his speech and he sat down, but he sat down too fast. So his precious button fell on the floor because the secretary was too slow to put the chair. And what happened?
They laugh.
They laughed. It was the providential fall down of the immense. And that cardinal fell on the floor. Because of that, we saved Indians from slavery. And that is not invention, it's a fact. It's a historical fact. And they said, so we cannot enslave Indians. But, unfortunately, we can enslave black people. It's very sad, but it's the fact, no? History, we know that. No? So what is interesting to see that the proof of the trial was, are they able to laugh? That means, do they have the property? Because we cannot know, they don't speak Spanish. So if you ask questions in Spanish, they cannot answer. So the unique way to know they are intelligent is they can laugh. In fact, Blessed Bartolomeo was answered with, God gave him the grace. And the grace was the providential fall down of the bishop on the floor. You know, sometimes God speaks through special events. Okay, that makes you think that the history depends sometimes on a little detail. A little detail, it does not sit on a chair, it sat on the floor. Because of that, no slavery for Indians in America. That was interesting. God used little detail. Okay. It's a historical fact. No? I go to page, yes, we can see that the property, at the bottom of page 32, they have the trademark. How we can know a man is intelligent through his operation. How we can know you understand? Through question and answer. No? Examination are there to verify if you understand. So we ask question, and if the answer is conform to what I taught, I say they understand what I taught. When you were in the first grade and the teacher said 2 + 2 and you answer 5, You did not understand. If you answer 2 plus 2, 4, you understand. You can know that only because you can speak, because you can write, because you can laugh, because you can smile. Otherwise, we cannot know your essence directly. Impossible. Okay? Now, a word, page 33. The word property is used in logic, and we saw that, for example, the capacity of laughing, but is used in science. In fact, in science, we define things through their property. Be careful, their property in science do not depend on their essence. So the word property in science has not exactly the same meaning as in philosophy. Okay? In philosophy and logic, property depend on the essence. But the characteristic, the property of oxygen, hydrogen, the property of your cat and a lion, a jaguar, all that, they don't depend on the essence. But they are proper to a cat, they are proper to a jaguar, they are proper to a Canadian beaver. American also a beaver, I'm not racist. Canadian beaver, American beaver, they are the same style. Okay, so we call that inseparable accident. I already explained that to you. B, under the square. Definition accident is the way of predicating, another word for predicating, attributing. When you think, use many words, attributing, which states some characteristic of a thing that are not part of its essence. So the accident, predicable accident, are not part of the essence. Property is not a part of the essence, but is coming from the essence. Okay? Separable accident, I already spoke to that, happen to in here, but they may come and they can go. My beaver can have a flat tail, but he can lose the flat tail, he continues to be a beaver. Sometimes, I saw recently, a few months ago, a dog, a tripod dog, three leg. He has no four, only 3 legs. He runs, he walks on 1 3 leg, He's a dog. He is not a 4-leg dog, but he's a dog. So it is not in the essence of a dog to have 4, but it is a characteristic of a dog to have 4 legs. But sometimes they have only. I saw recently also a cat only with 2 legs. So he walked only with 2 legs. So to take the place of the 2 legs behind, what he did, he built a little chariot, a little cart, and the cat is walking with 2 legs, and his body is on the little what do you say, like a bicycle, Okay, so now go further in the second square. Those inseparable accidents may be considered as proper to a whole genus. Proper to a genus. That means some genus are proper to many things. In fact, a genus is proper to many things. For example, the property of material thing, of body. All bodies are the property to occupy a volume. All bodies are the property to have a weight. All bodies have a density. So we can speak about the property of the genus. But most of the time we speak about the property of the essence in general. The property can be attached to the genus, can be attached to the specific difference. I give you an example. Property can attach to my genus. What is our genus? Animal. No? Because we are animal, we occupy a space, no? Do you occupy a space? Yes. We are in time. All that are property of the body. We study that when we study quantity. No? But to be able to laugh, to read, to talk, that is a property depending on my specific difference, my rationality. So I have property depending on my matter, my body. I have property depending on my specific difference. Okay? So there are properties depending on the specific difference, property depending on the body. Okay? But what are the most important? Property depending on your specific difference. Because your cat also has a volume, your cat also has a weight. We share the same property. No? Angels have no weight, have no volume, no? Because they are spiritual. I continue just on that. What is the value of the accident in the definition? It is an aggregate or inseparable accident. It is the, very important, the adequate substitute for the specific difference. I told you in science, in positive science, physics, chemistry, biology, entomology, we cannot define by genus and specific difference. We can define only by genus and inseparable accident. Therefore, these inseparable accidents are the substitute and they take the place of the specific difference. But they are not essential. They are accidental. That means if I define a cat as a quadruped with 4 legs, and my cat has only 3 or 2 legs, it continues to be a cat. You know? Because it is accidental. But to define my cat, I must have all those characteristics. I go now to, so in fact, all that we studied since the word, the concept, and the word univocal, equivocal, all those things, why? To arrive to definitions. To definition. And next class, we study division and composition to arrive finally to be able to write a definition. And definition is excessively important because there is no science without definition. You cannot heal Ebola if you don't know what is Ebola, what is the cause of Ebola, what is the constituent of Ebola. You know, to define, you know, when the police is searching for a criminal, what they have to do? They have to define who is he, who is that criminal. Definition is necessary. When you want to talk, you have to precise the word you want to use. That means you have to define. No? You cannot say any word. You have to exactly the word. So you have to precise. And to precise is to define. So when you talk, when you write, you don't write any word. You write a special word. If you want to speak about onion, you don't write carrot. You write onion. You know, in fact, continually, we are using our definition. Because what is the definition? The perfect definition, it is expressing our concept. We have the concept, and we try to understand what is that meaning of the concept. No? So caution, be careful, page 34. Important remark about the word accident. Another stumbling block in philosophy is the word accident. So we saw last week that we have substance and accident. And that accident, we call that predigamental accident. That means what is in another. A being existing in another. That is a predigamental accident. Now we speak about accident. That means oppose. That is predicable accident. Opposed to what? Opposed to essence. Opposed to essence. What is essential? What is not essential? So the word accident has 2 meanings. More than 2 meanings. When you go on the street and you see a car crashing on the tree, smashing another car, but that is an accident. That means it is contingent. Contingent. In fact, both of them mean also contingent, because the accident to be an American is not essential. It's not. It is accidental. I can be tall. I can be small. I was 6. A day I was maybe 2 I 2 feet high, 2 feet tall, and now I am 6. It is the same eye, accident. So we have two kinds of accident: predicamental accident and predicable accident. Predicamental accident, they are the way a being is another. Here we speak about being. We speak about what? Here, accident, we speak about how the predicable is united to the subject. But sometimes, some predicamental accident can be used as a subject and not as attribute. For example, the red of this dress is faded. So red is a predicamental accident, but in that case is considered as a subject. Well, I don't insist on that here. Okay? And you have the summary of everything here. Everything you studied this morning is on that summary. On page 34. The human being is rational, is an animal, everything is in good summary. You have everything. And finally, I will end by the paragraph C. Paragraph C. The purpose why. It is the human seeks knowledge of what is true. Well, here there is two kinds of truth. You have we call the ontological truth and the logical truth. Most of the time, when we speak about logical truth. That means the conformity of the thing to my mind. For example, I say, this cassock is khaki, is brown, for example, and if it is in the reality, and in my mind, the same thing, it is true. But a thing can be true in itself. For example, Archimedes was asked by the Lord, the king, to verify if the crown was made with true gold. Suppose you buy a ring with a diamond for you bought. You bought a ring, and you give that to your Dulcinea, to your girlfriend, and she says, "Oh, beautiful, beautiful." She arrived at home, and father says, "Show me that." Oh, that is plastic. Change your boyfriend. He's not rich enough. Look, if the real diamond, a real diamond is ontologically true diamond. That means it is a being, real being diamond. But it's a fake, it's not true. So we have to distinguish that. Is this what we see here? So each person wants to know the answer. What is permanent truth? So when I say this is a cat, and in fact the cat is a cat in itself is a cat, is this ontologically a real cat? It's not a cat in cotton or in plastic. But if I say this is a cat, that is illogical. Well, I don't want to insist on that. We come back. What is important? It is important to distinguish between predicates that are always true. That means, by essence, they are ontologically true. A man is a man. A real man is not a... Okay? And the predicate, they need to be true. That means the predicates are to be verified. If I say John is a good golfer, okay, John is ontologically John, is truly John. A good golfer, I have to check that. In fact, to know the truth, we have always to verify, to go to the experience. We cannot know the truth only in mathematics we can know the truth. In fact, in mathematics there is no truth because there is no link direct with the reality. It is purely in my mind. I can construct a system purely in my mind, mathematics. But as soon as I think, I express my thought through words of my mind, I am true if what I think, what I say corresponds to the reality. That is logical truth. But if I go to the store, I ask for butter, and then they give me margarine, that butter is not true. It's not true. is a not ontological true butter. It is margarine. Yes, brother.
So would ontological always be like a true statement?
No, the true statement is logical.
Oh, okay.
A true for example, that is true paper. Okay, that is true wood. But sometimes we have the same thing. I give you an example. In Cameroon, we have a priest, like confrère, he built little beautiful statue in ivory. Beautiful statues in ivory. But you know, some statues in plastic, they are almost exactly the same as, they are so good imitation. So how we can know? So a day he put all these statues because he wanted to take back to Canada. He put this statue on his desk. What happened? During the day, the dog entered his office, and the dog can know exactly what are the ontological true statues and the not ontological true statues. So because ivory is a teeth, it's a bone. Huh? So the dog, he destroyed all the statues made with ivory, and the statue in plastic did not change. So we can say those statues that the dog chew and have fun to eat are ontological true ivory, and the other was fake ivory. So that is ontologically true, unlike the ring, a plastic ring or the gold medal crown of the king, or it is a mix with other things. So we come back on that, ontological true and logical true. But most of the time when you say you tell the truth, you think that is logical, correspondence between your mind and the reality. Now you have to take an ontological true meal, because you are logically true when you say I am hungry. And everything is also easy. Okay, good afternoon, good meal, good lunch.